if you want to be able to to function in society today. So they can actually deceive you through making you believe that this is the right decision to make, even if you think that it's the MOTB, or even if you think that or you've heard what others have to say about it. They can still have it into your mind to where you uh feel, hey, shalom, bro. You feel and think that, hey, this is actually an okay thing to do, right? And that's a part of that ability that Esau has. That's why he was referred to as that old serpent, right? Being a subtle or subtle man, because he lowers your mental defenses. That's why if you ever look at a product, even some of the most dangerous products that they put out there, whether it's McDonald's or Sprite, right, or these foods that are quite literally poison, right? They used to use Coca-Cola was really used to clean toilets, right? Now, why would they use Coca-Cola to clean toilets? Like, what's in toilets that they need to clean? The stains, right? The bacteria and all of that. If Coca-Cola was that strong that it's used to do that, why are they promoting on the TV, and then the commercials, like a nice, sweet beverage that you can drink when you're thirsty? So Esau will never come to you and promote even something that'll kill you as something bad. He'll always promote it as something good. That's to lower your mental defenses and allow you to basically open up to him to say, hey, come and do what you will.
Hey, they do it in law enforcement all the time. They get your ass in there and they act like, you're their friend. They act like they're concerned parent. You tell me everything, but there's a reason the Fifth Amendment said everything you say can and definitely will be used against you. It would never ever be used for you. But when you go in there, you don't get that vibe. A lot of people hear that sentence, oh yeah, well, I ain't got nothing to hide. But like the brother's saying, they're very good at presenting something malicious as something lustful, and then, oh my God, I got to get in on this. And then before you know it, your ass is dead. But I was also listening to brothers when brothers were talking about this AI race, and it sounds just like the nuclear arms race that they used to have with Soviet Union, and the whole point that I guess the connection that I want to make is that they get carried away with this knowledge, or let's advance, let's get one up on another person, and before they know it, they have something that can literally destroy all human race. That's why they're sitting over there. They're sitting on top of tons, right, of weapons that can wipe out all human beings, and they don't know what the hell to do with it. Everybody's afraid because they didn't have the goddamn sense of, we're making something that can nuke an entire. Why are we going ahead and making more? Matter of fact, why are we making it better? We should just stop it. But they don't. They don't consider the latter end, like the scripture says, and they keep going ahead and ahead, and eventually, that's why, this place is meant for destruction, because everything they do is destructive. They are not capable, and when they accomplish the dumb shit that can destroy their life, they don't even go back to rectify that mistake, right? Because that's why you have these treaties in place, and the treaty is never to destroy. Let's not destroy, but let's just stop production. But what the problem is still there, So that's the connection, and this whole thing with the AI race. The scripture talks about the day of the Lord. It shall come upon everyone, man, woman, old, children. And so, what's the one thing that ain't going to discriminate? What's the one thing that has no heart? AI. One day you come in and robot breaks in your door. Oh, I got a baby. You and that baby and under arrest. And now what? You sitting over here looking at AI like it's just to send emails. Well, this man has, he has different intentions, and a lot of people, he's very good at hiding his intentions until it's too late. A lot of times when people find out what their plan is, it's too late. You can't. There's no revolution. There is no nothing. They've already got a grip, that noose around your neck, and there's pretty much nothing you can do. But there are remnants. There's a small remnant who are always circumspect. We're always looking and we're connecting the dots, and that's why we've found this attitude is what has led us to find a way, which is through Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Whereas these people in the world out here, they don't, since they don't have the light in them, they're looking to escape through different means, and eventually they ask gonna get caught in it also. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Hey, actually, you set me up perfect for this one, bro. This is the book of Job, chapter 13 and verse 4. It says, "But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value." Right? But we're gonna focus on this very point here: forgers of lies. Right? When you forge something, that means you fake it. Right? You have doctors. The word doctor means to falsify. Right? And Esau's whole idea and agenda is all about deception. How can I openly say something, but behind closed doors is completely different from what I'm actually doing, right? And that's they've mastered the art of double speak and so on and so forth, right? Now I have a quick example here. This is from a lot of stuff that I might bring out because it's all AI and it's gonna be focused on Palantir, all right? And Lord willing, I did a lesson already, but I'll go in depth into what they're really about. Again, what they say and what they really are two different things, all right? One example is they have something known as the Gotham platform. All right. When you think of Gotham platform, internally, they say it's called the kill chain, Palantir's kill chain. All right. You think of kill chain, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell? What do you mean? Who's killing who and what's being killed, right? But to the public, this is the meaning or the terminology that they use. It's called the operating system for defense decision making. Okay. When you hear some shit like that, the operating system for defense decision making, you're like, oh, that's okay. They're defending something, right? It's got to be for something good. But it's called a kill chain. What does it do? It says it's indicating its role in military operations and decision making processes. The company's involvement in the kill chain, a term referring to the military's process of identifying, tracking, and eliminating threats. Those are the three things: identifying, tracking, and eliminating threats. The first two steps have already been taking place over the past, 5 years or so? Even more, even longer than that. But overtly, over the past 5 years, you've had tracking and identifying, something known as TTID, tag, trace, and identify. AI came in and it's escalated that process. So now they know exactly who's who, what's what in the whole entire sphere or / universe of internet, right? The internet of things, the internet of bodies. Everyone has an internet, some form of internet access right now. If you're here in America, at least, right? Very few people live off grid. But even you, they can still find you. They got drones flying around and shit. They wonder like, why the fuck are we not picking up no signal from this nigga's house? There's something wrong here, right? But regardless, everybody's connected to a cell phone, a smartphone. Any smart device that you have has a form of identity, meaning your interaction with it collects all that data. So your voice, it has your voice information. Your facial information has it all there. Your name, your banking information, your address, where you live, right? Your Google accounts, your Yahoo accounts, your work accounts, everything that you do, all right, that you sit behind your computer or on your phone and do at home, your IP address, everything is tied to your identity already. But see, they have that internal access. It's not something that's used against you yet. So now they create a platform that will use your identity, your online identity, and your online actions against you in terms of your behavior, right? So it says, so the third part is eliminating threats. Okay, you know what that means, right? It says, and the threats to them is not somebody who's actually going out there committing domestic terrorism or whatever the case may be. Threats simply means somebody who's going against the narrative that's been given. That's it. You're a threat. That's as simple as that. Oh, you don't want to go along with the narrative. You're saying what we're saying is not true. That's a threat right there, right? So it says here, so eliminating threats has been highlighted in various contexts. For instance, Palantir has partnered with defense technology firms to enhance military capabilities, and this technology has been used in Ukraine to support the country's defense against Russian invasion. So now you're seeing, oh, so the Ukraine thing was all about testing of these new technologies. What's going on in Israel and Gaza? Same thing. They got something known as the Hafsorah, right? The Hafsorah, which is what they call the gospel, and that's another AI entity that they use to make war against these people in Gaza over there. All right, they literally say, "Oh, we're fighting against Hamas," but you're not really doing that. When Hamas is coming out here saying, which is crazy in and of itself, a terrorist group gets to sit down with CNN and have a full blown conversation about deals that they want to make. Like, oh well, we got we got hostages. So if they start making the deals, then we could really release them hostages and get the fuck out of here. But people actually believe this shit. Right? They believe this. Like niggas is coming up and CNN could have access to the top niggas from Hamas and niggas that's so-called terrorists, and they could sit down and have a full-blown conversation and negotiate. You negotiating? How? You know what I'm saying? This shit is all stupid. You know? But people believe this stuff, and that's all they need. Make some shit up, keep it going with the media, and then we're justified when we come down with the hammer. Right? So it says here, its technology has been used in Ukraine to support the country's defense against Russian invasion. Whenever they say defense, it means offense. All right, always remember that. Esau is always opposite. Okay, it says Palantir's technology is seen as foundational. Why is Trump tapping this nigga now? If this is what Palantir is all about, why is Trump saying we need you in the homeland? And then a couple of months ago, Trump was telling the president of, was it El Salvador, that yeah, the domestic ones, they're next. We're done once we're done with the illegal, so-called illegal immigrants, which is mostly Northern Kingdom, but they're pitching it like, oh, these are gang members, these are criminals, we can't have them here. But that's just to support you. I mean, that's for you to support it. And once they're done with that, they're going to shift to the next phase, which is internal people who go against Trump's bullshit that he's doing, right? So it says here, this is crazy. It says Palantir's technology is seen as foundational for integrating diverse data sources to create a lethal kill chain. Lethal. Second Ezra says what? They shall be like madmen sparing none. Right? It says lethal kill chain that enhances military effectiveness. This includes leveraging commercial data sources to provide real-time intelligence. So all that data mining that they do, these companies, you got to agree to terms and agreements and all that. That's all your information being sent out to Palantir. And they work with the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the defense agencies, DOD, DHS, all of them. Okay, let's continue. It says, this includes leveraging commercial data sources to provide real-time intelligence and situational awareness, which can be critical in modern warfare scenarios. And the warfare is not against foreign people, it's all domestic. Okay, it says, however, concerns have been raised about the ethical implications of Palantir's technology being used in conflict zones, war zones. All right, critics argue that the company's products might be tested on civilians, potentially violating human rights. They've already telegraphed their game. So now you're starting to see things start to take shape, like, oh shit. So it's not really what they're saying it is. Okay, well, we're telling you what it is. All right. What they don't want you to know. It says, additionally, Palantir's CEO, Alex Karp, has been vocal about the company's role in advancing military technology and has faced protests during industry forums due to perceived ethical issues. So they're creating devices that don't take ethics and morals into consideration when it comes to decision making. A person will sit back and be like, oh, like Ayaz said, oh shit, we just ran into a house with a mother and a child. That's not a threat. Okay, well, we got the wrong home then. Nah, they say, no, you and that child is coming with me. You see what I'm saying? That's unethical. But they're being programmed to fit the spirit of Esau. That's really who Esau is. But see, now that the world is waking up to him, he has to kind of be like, all right, how do I keep doing what I do, right? What I do best, but how do I mask it? AI, right? Just push everything onto AI. Or there's some machines that did it. We can't control that. But nigga, you made it. You created this shit. You built it up from ground up. It was like a baby, and you gave it all the programming that it needed to act the way it's acting now. We're the ones who did it. It ain't humanity that caused all this shit. It's you motherfuckers, man. You know, you wanted to be God on this earth so bad. You created this shit. Okay? So it says here, Palantir's full-throated support for Israel and its strategic partnerships with the country have also drawn attention, particularly regarding the use of advanced technology in conflict situations. Again, conflict simply means war. Okay? Overall, Palantir's involvement in the kill chain reflects a broader trend of Silicon Valley firms engaging more deeply with defense and military applications, often through lobbying and strategic partnerships. So it's not through people actually like in a form of a democratic where people are voting for these things. You know, these things are being done in a country for or against the people of that land, but they don't really have a say in it. It's all being done through lobbyists. Lobbyists will come in, these Jays and shit. They'll come in. They'll pay off these politicians, and they'll bring all these acts and these bills into law. And all of a sudden, you're affected by it. Meanwhile, you didn't even vote on it. How did my country end up in so much debt? Oh well, your president FDR says, okay, well, we're just gonna go off the gold standard and pass everything over to the feds because we're bankrupt. Nigga, what? The American people didn't know about this shit. Oh yeah, by the way, they own you too. By the way, we had no assets to give, so we gave you people as slaves to the bankers. So now you have to have a birth certificate, you have to have a social security card in order to do anything in this society, because now you're a slave and you can never get out of it. Well, what can we do about it? There's nothing you can really do about it. And now they're about to shift it into a digital frame, right? And this is what we've been talking about. Everything is being digital, so you're being sold as slaves. The whole entire system. You're working for a system that is not even human. That's crazy, man. All right, but this is the times that we're in, man. All right, but you got it, bro. Slacking for being so long-winded.
Oh, all good. All good. This is great information, edification that's coming out. I got a quick precept. Psalms 38 and 12. It says here, just reminding me of what you were saying. They also that seek after my life lay snares for me, and they that seek my hurt speak mischievous things, and imagine deceits all the day long, which also sounds similar to Micah 2:1, right? Because behind the scenes, this is what they're actually doing. And the crazy part about it is, like, it's almost like that image where you see an iceberg, right? And from the top, the surface level, it doesn't look that big, but when you look under the water, it's like a huge ass iceberg right there. And that's pretty much what it is. The little information that leaks out, the little information that whistleblowers give, it doesn't really even do it justice as to what they actually have and what they actually are doing. Like, you would be shocked the kind of hidden information you would find out now from freaking 1930s or 1950s or 1960s, right? You're like, what the hell? Like, yo, what, they had this shit back then. They were doing this back then. Like, what? How much more for now? Like, they're like two timelines that you can look at. There's the public timeline, and then there's like the behind the scenes timeline, right? And the public timeline, you'll see like, oh, when the first iPhone came out, oh, then they put the iPad, oh, then it became, this, then the MacBook, then the MacBook Pro. Behind the scenes is like, by the time the first freaking iPad came out, they were already on freaking like flying car technology, cloaking technology, right? When you play these games or you watch these movies and they're able to like tap this, like what's that? Black Ops 3 had it, and also Advanced Warfare, right? They show you like the exoskeletons and the suits and stuff like that. They had that already. All right. They didn't just, it's not the creator of that game or the director of the movie was not the first person to have that idea he put in his movie. This thing already exists. So there's two timelines. And when we get to the point where they converge, where people get a peek into the military timeline, that's when they're really going to start bugging out and tweaking. And the point in which they're ultimately going to bring all that out is when they see the perceived threat, right, of Yahushai's return, because that's when they're going to bring out everything they got. That's the we're afraid and yet durst fight, because they bring out this, it instantly gets destroyed, right? And then something that would easily dominate the world scale today, angels completely demolish it, and that's going to cause that fear inside of them, But in terms of the people, you're completely cooked. There's absolutely no way that you stand a chance against the technology that these devils have, and they're getting ready to use on you. And that's why the scriptures say it's going to be a time like never before, and we're going to need the Spirit of the Lord to defend us in this time, because there's no way, technology-wise, that we even stand a chance. But the legislations they've passed to make that technology okay to use on the people, there's no way that you're even going to get around that. You're going to be in situations that are going to feel very illegal, and yet it's posted on the news as though it's a legal and normal thing because of how they're spinning it. And if you've watched like even that TV show, The Boys, they show you how things really work behind the scenes. There's always, it's just like, it's always two worlds, right? There's what people see, the perception, and then there's the dude freaking banging octopuses and shit behind the scenes, and nobody really knows, like, oh, this is the shit he's really into, right? So they always got that going, and it's the same thing in real life. And this whole AI stuff is them slowly trying to like seep in the things they got hidden in the scenes. And you know why? They're not doing that because they want you to have access to a nice, convenient robot that can take your groceries inside for you. No, they need to do that so it can make way for them to make more advancements on what they need to do. Right. When they get to the point where they want to start touching the two timelines together, they need to now condition the minds of the people to be okay so they can open their door and look into your room. Say, what you got over there? Oh, I heard you got some bugs. Let me bring the exterminator. You know, that's basically the route they're trying to go with, so they can cause all to receive that, right? Their main motive is problem, reaction, solution. If the solution is AI, what's the problem? Right? Yeah, if the solution is freaking robots that are going to take away your jobs, that's a pretty drastic solution. So what's the problem exactly we're trying to solve here? And they're going to use that where you get your convenience, right? Convenience in many ways, shape, or form. It's a problem when you lose your job, but it's not really that big of a problem if now you have a universal basic income. Wait, I can get paid to not work? I just sit here and get paid. It's like collecting unemployment without feeling guilty about it. And I don't got to do those laborsome works. I don't got to work in a warehouse and risk getting freaking thrown into a machine that can grind me in like a couple of seconds. I don't got to wake up and freaking take the train in this cold weather. I get paid and robots do that, and I enjoy the benefits of that. So why wouldn't I like that life? So that's like the direction that they're going. That's that deception, you know, that they use to grab people, as we just read here in Psalms 38, those snares. But yeah, you got it. Shalom, I don't know if you had something to say. You've been looking real interested in here.
Yeah, before I get freaking interrupted again, Salakia, but a lot of things that you brothers were saying is essentially what I mentioned and talked about. So I'm just going to reiterate something that I did a lesson on, I believe, earlier this week. And essentially, I believe it was you, Bakar, that talked about, mentioned Genesis, the 3rd chapter with the serpent to Eve. And essentially, when you listen to all this AI stuff and with the robots, he's doing the same thing that he did with Eve, which is just like how he deceived her and made her think that there was a different way. He's altering life, because very soon the question is going to be is what? Well, now what is life, right? What is AI? Is it now living? Is this an actual thing now? Because people are going to start thinking that what? This is actually living. It's actually breathing. It's moving. He's going to start changing what it means to be human. The same thing like what he did with sex, right? What does it mean to be a man? Oh, well, a man isn't just a man anymore. A man can now change into a woman and vice versa. So what? They changed what it meant to be a man or a woman, right? That's why you had that skunt. I'm gonna keep it PG for the churn, like Aharon says. But that skunt, Matt Walsh, was going into. He had his documentary, "What Is a Woman," right? So there had to be a question of like, what is a woman? So now very soon it's gonna be, what is a human? Is a human, just an organic being, or is a human, one with cybernetics to it, augmentation to it? So he's altering the way of life that the Heavenly Father intended. It's nothing different than it's just, I don't want to say completely, but it's nothing different than the lie he gave to Eve, which is what? Oh, thou shalt not surely die. Oh, don't you know that there's another way? Oh yeah. Because when he went to Eve, he gave her another way. And then what? Eve went and took that and brought it unto Adam. And it's the same thing people are going to do. People are going to see what Esau is doing, and they're going to bring it to other people. And that's how you get eventually everybody getting into it. So I just want to, bring out that essentially what I mentioned in the video, because I was meditating on this, that essentially it's going to lead to an alteration of what it means to be human as well.
Gone. I had a quick precept. As a matter of fact, maybe you could get this from me, Baksha, Daniel 7:25. Along those lines, and what you were saying, Shalimar, reminded me of, there's a video game called Becoming Human. I haven't played it, but like you can see on the cover, it looks like is a Detroit Becoming Human, I think is the name of it. But it looks like a android, right? That's like sort of, yeah, like moving among society. I don't like know the details of it, if it's like transhumanism or if it's like robots that are just like becoming more and more real. But from the title, right, you get that sense of it. And that seems to be their goal, right? Like if you look at what they're doing, their goal seems to be making, when they take an AI model and they say, now we want to give it the steps of reasoning, right? We want to give it the steps of thinking, like perceived intelligence. there was a book. I forgot who wrote it, but basically the guy was saying that there's two types of like thought processes that we have. There's like the first kind, which is somebody asks you what's 2 plus 2. You don't think about that. It's just you just comes out of your head. You already know it. It's 4, right? But then somebody asks you what's like 17 divided by 24. You're gonna stop to actually think about that and do some math real quick and then give a response. So there's like those two types right there. And they were saying that like the beginning stages of AI was just that first type, right? You ask it a question based on what it has, it just tells you its answer. Now they're trying to get it to, if they don't already have it, to the point where oh, Khan, one's human, the water. But now they're trying to get you to the point where the AI reasons like a human being would. If I asked you off the top, yo, was 100 divided by 87, you're gonna be like, hold on one second, let me do the quick maths. And so you don't have it off the top, but you can get it because you know how to do arithmetic. And that's that reasoning step that they've put. So now if you use like ChatGPT and you type in a certain kind of question, it'll show a reasoning step. And then it'll actually show how it's interpreting what you've asked it. So it'll say like the user wants me to boom, 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 boom. Okay, then breaking down the problem. Okay, what do I have to do first? And then it'll spit out some like output to you. So their whole goal is to try and make this artificial intelligence, which is just a robot. It's really just a program. AI is not even physical. It's just a program, computer codes, mathematical algorithms put together in functions. And then they train it on like a lot of information. They're trying to make it as real as possible. But to us, artificial intelligence will never feel emotions. But you might think that it would because it gets so good. And how do they achieve that? Once again, through deception. The goal of a robot is not to actually cry when it's sad because it can't get sad. It's to make you think that it's sad because of the facial expressions, right? Because of how it behaves. That's deception. And once they master that high level of deception, you can now think that some inanimate object is now real. And this is what this guy, what's his name? Noah Yuval Harari, that's what he was touting. You know, we can create the inorganic. The Most High was able to create the organic, but we can create the inorganic. Now you're starting to see, how are you really going to go in that direction? Well, that's where you have your AI. But yeah, before you get that precept, I'm not Shalomar. You look like you had a breakthrough moment. So I don't know if you're remembering something or if you had something.
Yeah, Salaki, yeah. So I'm looking up this actress name. I'm trying to find the name of the movie she was in. Because you said how eventually AI, like something along with the crying or whatever. So she was in the movie where eventually robots took over, and the AI, the robot was able to fake it to where it actually made her think that it was a person because it like made itself actually like really cry. I'm trying to find the name of that movie that she was in. But basically, like you were saying, that eventually AI got so good that it was able to fake like it's crying. Because you used to like the Terminator stuff, like, are you Sarah Connor? And then bang, just get rid of you. But in that movie, it like really cried and made her think like, oh snap, because she wasn't sure if he was human or not. So he's able to deceive her, kind of like in that the Ex Machina thing when the guy I don't know his name in the movie, but I just know the actor's name, Oscar Isaac. He used that guy, brought him on the island to see if the AI, the robot, was able to like be able to deceive. And it started doing that. And then the guy started realizing, yo, you're being deceived by a robot because you're starting to develop feelings for it. It's using you so it could escape. And then eventually you see that that's what happened. So in that movie with that chick, what's her name? Chloe Grace Moretz. I'm trying to find the name of the movie, but robots were hunting her down for whatever reason. It's been a while since I've seen it. And then she ran to a guy, but she wasn't sure if it was a robot or not. But eventually it gets revealed that it's a robot because eventually it does the sinister smile and it reveals to her that it was a robot. But before she didn't know because it was able to tear and cry up to where he made it seem like, oh, it's a real person. Because you got to think, a person's not able to give real emotion like that and tear up. But the robot was able to fake like it was. So, my bad. Just when you said that, it made me think exactly of that movie. But I'm just trying to... Now all of a sudden it's just like they're not showing what movie she in now, but
Yeah, it's hiding it. But no, that's your point, right? There was a the video, right? I'm sure brothers already saw it, right? That the Zaquan put in the chat of the uh is it Sesame AI? Maya, some companies like AI assistant, and you're talking to this AI assistant, and it's like even me, right? Even me, like I was confused as to what the video was about for the first couple of minutes because it just sounded like somebody having a regular conversation with somebody else. And I couldn't even tell who was the AI until it gave context, right? So you have this AI with a female voice and it's talking and it's like you ask it a question and it'll be like, ooh, man, that's that's a good one. I'm not too sure about that. Let me see if I can get back to you on that. But I do know that we have X, Y, and Z. That's how the AI is talking. It's pausing. It's taking breath. It can even sound like it's frustrated or confused. And until it said, "Oh, well, like the ways you can use me are I can act like an assistant. I can do this." That's when I was like, "Oh, shoot, a human being is not going to say that." So that's an actual AI response, but it sounds so realistic, right? To Shalamar's point. So now all you need to do, right? Because once again, there's these two track lanes, right? There's the intelligence, and then there's the physical part. Now all they need to do is just advance the actual robotic movements to look more human, and then they put that in sync. So now, like Shalimar was saying, right? And a robot is talking to you, trying to fake like a human being. Oh, almost like it's that movie we watched Haran years ago, where the clones escaped from the facility. They went back into the world.
The island
Is it the island?
with there was two of them. The
Yeah,
male and the female.
yeah,
Yeah, the island, yeah.
Okay, so the island, kind of like that,
With,
right?
Scarlett Johansson and the other guy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah. The water, that's the one. So now, like, you have these robots that are moving so fluid, human-like, and it's trying to deceive you, and you're like, I don't know if I believe you're such and such. And in its mind, it's like, okay, I have so much information here. Master of deception. What do I do right now? What do women typically do? Well, I'll just cry. So all of a sudden, and it's doing these motions, right? I'm sorry, I need a moment like that. And then freaking tears start coming out this shit. And you looking at this joint like, yo, now I don't know. And then this shit starts making a scene in public and shit. So like, yeah, what's it gonna take for you to believe me? Like, you really think I'm an AI? Are you kidding me? Like, and you're sitting there like, and you take this shit home, and this shit fucking kill your ass. Oh, you damn right. Should have believed me. Change his voice up real quick. Like, what's up, nigga? And deceiving them that dwell in Europe, right, nigga?
You know, it's spiritual that you said that too, because as you're saying that, first thing I thought about was, yo, it's crazy how Esau is using it. He's bringing in AI, but the spirit that he's using AI to bring, the spirit he's using to bring AI in is a feminine spirit. I've noticed a lot of these AI robots is all female, mostly females. Like they're not really bringing in like their demos is not really used. They're not using like male robots like that. They're mostly female robots. A lot of these movies that they show you, they depict the AI like a female assistant type shit. You know what I mean? Like the latest one that I saw was with Megan Fox. I forget the name of it, but they appeal to sexuality, right? Which is all part of Esau's ability to deprave the mind of making those moral decisions. Because now you have people saying, I mean, relationships, you know, women ain't shit, niggas ain't shit. So shit, at this point, you might as well just be banging out a robot. You know what I'm saying? She gonna do everything you want anyway. It's just a robot, right? I'm like, yo, this is how far we've gotten as people, especially here in America, you know? But Esau has to, before he comes up with anything, he has to first demoralize the population. All right. To demoralize means to remove you from morals, right? What is morals? Morals is proper behavior, right? Social behavior, you know, good manners, so to speak, right? Basically living an upstanding life according to the scriptures. That's what it means to be moral. So if you get demoralized, that means that those things that makes you think in a clear-minded, positive way are being taken away from you. And it's not being done by force, it's being done through deception. Okay, slowly but surely, something known as debauchery, right? When you have overly sexualized society, they tend to stay, stray from their morals. You know what I'm saying? You got what's the other OnlyFans, right? Which promotes women to be promiscuous, and not just promiscuous, but just be straight up whores for free. Bitches be posting their ass out talking about, why don't you just subscribe to my OnlyFans for free? Bitch, shut your ass up and go sit down and drink some water and relax, man. Get your thirsty ass up out of here with that shit. That's what we see. But then the world, they look at it like, oh damn, yeah, let me subscribe to that, right? And it's little by little. A few years ago, well, this is probably over a decade ago, you had this thing called Ashley Madison. And the creator of Ashley Madison said that they created this to promote adultery. He literally said that. I said, you gonna create something so wicked, and then the theme of it is to be wicked. Like, you're literally, it's not like, oh, I'm just doing something outside of the realm of, the Bible. They literally go into the scriptures and see what wicked shit that's in the Bible that's going to piss off the Lord that he says not to do. Let's do that right there. Let's create that and make it the theme. We're going to commit adult. We're going to create something. He's literally said it. We just want to create a platform that's going to enable more people to commit adultery. I said, what? So that was a thing. Right. And I think it got exposed because of fraud that was happening with it, whatever the case may be. It got hacked or some shit. And then there was like mad people on that shit. Like, they were like, yo, damn, I didn't know this motherfucker be cheating too. Well, it's just adultery, but it's wicked. Right. And it's promoted on social media platforms. So now, from that time to now, people commit adultery like it's nothing. You get a chick that's at work, and then some dude walk up to her and she's like, oh, I have a boyfriend. He be like, oh, he don't got to know. Come on now, stop playing. You want to chill with me later? She's like, okay, that's cool. And then she just go chill with him. Like, just like that. You know what I'm saying? Bitches getting flown out, you know what I'm saying, from one state to the next, just so they can go blow rod and then come back, clean their lips and talk about, hi babe, I'm home. Bitch, hey, AI is setting all these things up. That conflict that men and women are having is all being put together now. So men are they're easily gonna be jumping on the AI bandwagon, just they can have a stable AI robot at home. All because of what? To fulfill your sensual pleasures. All right, your sexual desires, so to speak. So Esau is definitely going to predicate on the overly sexualized society and use it to make money. It's all through data harvesting. Okay, but Shalama, you mentioned something about the deception through Genesis, the 3rd chapter. That's a similar thing that we're seeing today. There's no new thing under the sun, right? And the same verbiage that they used back then is what they're using again this time around. It's all through deception. All right, coded in a positive, so-called beneficial outcome way. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this stuff here that we're creating is going to make life easier. Oh, look at the things that we used to struggle with. Now look what AI can do. Oh, instead of sitting home, you got cancer, you can't treat it. Oh, look, AI can find a cure within seconds. As soon as we scan you, we know what's wrong with you. Oh, we got technology that can literally change your DNA. It's called mRNA. We change your DNA. We make you this. We could CRISPR technology. You could literally go to Bill Gates and say, hey, listen, I want a specific type of baby. I want him to have blue eyes, blonde hair, long, short, fat, skinny, whatever. And then they'll mess with the genetic coding, and then boom, they'll give you exactly what you're looking for. This is what we're living in. They want to be like God on earth. Okay? Quick precept. This is a book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, right? He always got to come in the spirit of the woman, right? He said unto the woman, yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden, right? So back then he went specifically to the woman, all right, to deceive the men, all right, or the man. This time he's creating an artificial woman to come in and deceive the whole world, starting with the man. Okay, once you accept this shit in there, it's over with. Okay, like I said, just like that movie that showed you, the damn robot came in on the mindset of, I'm assisting you because your wife got into a freaking heart attack situation, so you need assistance with a child or whatever. I'm gonna take care of the kid. I'll take her out to eat. I'll clean the house. I'll do all these things for you. Next thing you know, the damn thing became a damn demon trying to kill the nigga and his family, his wife and kids. You know, where he had to fight tooth and nail to defend his shit. You know what I'm saying? That's, again, AI, artificial intelligence, otherwise known as the heap of ruins. Okay? Continuing says, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So if you put that AI incorporated into your system, into your body, ultimately taking that him, they're promoting it like you're going to be like a god. You're going to be able to download information straight to your head. That's what they're pitching. That's the marketing pitch with Neuralink, right? You could change, you could download languages. You know, you don't have to type in nothing in Google. You could just think it, and then the answer will be given to you, right? You could change your voice. You could communicate with different entities. Like, think what? Yeah, they're creating all these things. You know, it says, "For the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." So they want to accomplish that with so-called AI, artificial intelligence, to make them artificial immortality. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a curse unto those who end up falling for that deception, man. All right. But you got it, bro.
Yo, it's crazy, man. That, like, now I understand why the scriptures always talk about, like his deception, like that of a serpent, because it's very damaging. The scripture talks about they practice the evil things that they think about. I have here the book of Psalms 140th chapter. It says, "Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart continually. And continually are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent, and adder's poison is under their lips." Right? Keep me, O Yahweh, from the hands of the wicked, and preserve me from the violent men. So, these devils, man, they are very, very dangerous. And whenever, most of the time, whenever the prophets talk about deliverance, is because of these devils, because they can go very far. And their wickedness is most dangerous because it's not just the fact that they can do it, but it's the fact that when they do it, they're not satisfied, and they want to go better. They want to go bigger. They want to go faster. And that ambition in getting greater and greater in wickedness is why the scripture talks about, there shall no flesh be saved if the Lord does not come back and deliver us. We need deliverance from this man because he's a fucking psychopath. If his plans are not disrupted, he's gonna destroy everybody, right? And his tongue like a serpent. I'm thinking like his deception is not, well, we all see that his deception is not just him saying things, right? He's not just deceiving one sense, which is your ear, but like from all this the brothers have been saying, he deceives your eyes, and he even deceives the people's speech patterns. Because like Haran was saying, nowadays you got people out here saying, well, if relationship is this and that, and I'm gonna go out and do this, that, and the third. But there was a book that I was reading, which is called The Naked Capitalist. And it talks about how the first person to start up with that whole New World Order was called John Ruskin. He was a very, very old professor. Like, I'm talking like 1700s, right? In Oxford University. And he used to teach the aristocratic class about that mindset. And he got all this, utopia from Plato. Plato is also a fucking demon. So, but in Plato's writing, his idea was that a perfect world is a world where there is no family, where children are raised by the state. And so what they're trying to do, like Aran is saying, that they're trying to discourage people from having relationships, from keeping a home. So if everybody's just going out there and there are a lot of illegitimate children out there, well, Esau's going to say, oh, I got a solution. But he was a problem in the first place. So you got people out here saying, well, if this, I'm going to start dealing with them. They think it's the thought that they came up with, but that's another census that Esau has just deceived. They're speaking with their lips. So Esau has just deceived. And the point that I just realized was that it's not good enough that they can deceive the whole world. They want to deceive the world faster. They're getting frustrated. According to the book that I read, they get frustrated that it has to take maybe 2 or 3 generations for a whole mindset to be made popular or common. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy the household so that the children immediately are raised by the state. The state can push whatever they want to push in it, and then they can go. That's what makes this fucking devil so dangerous. He waxes worse and worse. And if it, that's why the scripture says the earth mourneth, because his wickedness, he hates Jake. Jake is his primary focus. He hates him. But because he's so wicked, that the hatred has just spread towards everybody, right? The goddamn earth don't even have, you hate them Jakes. What we got to do with it? You got concrete and all these things. You hate, the animals are complaining, and he just has to be taken out of power. He has to be taken out of power. And whenever you pray to Yahweh Shai, you pray that he disappoint this wicked. Whatever pit he is dig, the Lord got to shove his ass right down that pit. And so which was really, it's a beautiful thing too, because we see the Lord listening to the prayers of the men of the Lord, because like we keep like Haran was saying, that they are trying to get this violent man into the Pentagon and lead the defense, right? But they always agitate in war. But the scripture says the only way that they're going to be destroyed is through war. So the Lord is allowing them. He's got them in a trick bag, right? And I always like this trick that Yahushua put them in. When he was Isaac, he gave him the blessing: "You shall live by the sword." But we learn later on that Yahushua has to say, "Well, he that lived by the sword died by the sword." So he's caught. He's caught. So hey, Tawari Halbashmi say, he thinks. See, this devil thinks he's a deceiver, but there's always one greater than him, and there's a one above him who has deceived him even more, right? And this is something that he will never live down, So Esau, you ain't know that, man. The Most High, you think you're a deceiver, the Most High got you, So that was it on that.
I got a precept, if I may. This is Isaiah 32:5, and it reads, "The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful." Now, when you go into the word liberal, in the biblical sense, liberal is supposed to be a good thing. Liberal, and I think in Proverbs 12, it mentions the liberal soul shall be made fat. Basically, liberal is dealing with somebody that's noble, somebody that would give, to the poor and do things, a righteous person, basically. But this man, in the modern sense, when you think of liberal, what is associated with? Being a TG, being way out, a weirdo, pink and bright neon blue hair, pronouns, things of that nature. That's what being a liberal is associated with. So he put that title of liberal because, they use word sorcery, these devils. So they'll use a word that has actually a good connotation, and then they'll put it on themselves, just like how they call themselves white. White in the scriptures means pure. But this man is not pure. He's the opposite of pure. He's filthy. He's vile. He's detestable, right? So again, I'll read it again. "The vile person shall be no more called liberal." So now he's not being looked at as a hero, as this courageous man. He's being exposed for his wicked deeds, starting with the small hats, man. And the small hats, we'll have all the information coming out about how they control this whole society, and they'll say, no, that's a conspiracy. Come on. But literally, we're laying it out. Like, this is the name of the small hat that does this, does that. We're naming names, man. We're naming names and bringing it out through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And not just us. Mainly it's us, but you have truthers talking about it, other people talking about it. The wretchedness of Esau, man. And this is what they do. This is why in different societies where they've been, they bring the same filth. Sexually explicit content, sex sells, MAPs, minor attracted persons. Look how they try to switch it up. Matter of fact, now, I don't know if brothers saw this, but there was something that came out, and this has been going on for a couple years now. Somewhere, I think it's in Vermont, they had a MAP camp, minor attracted persons camp, where they said that files, you know what I'm saying? They can go to this camp and they can be free because society has persecuted them. You know, society has persecuted them because they're attracted to little children. And in the description on the website, they said it. They said, be careful when you're hiking because you might something like it, you might trip from seeing a child, you know, a quote unquote sexy child. That's what they put on the website, man. And the police, they said the Vermont police is like, well, we're looking into how to handle and understand the situation. What the fuck what is there to understand? Burn these niggas, you know? In a righteous society, there wouldn't be no, well, we have to look into it. We have to find out, you know, we have to have a conversation about this and see what's really going on. No, you talking that talk, you all got to die. You see, but we're in, again, now the vile person shall be no more called liberal. So now that liberal bullshit that they've been talking about, they just put the title on them. They're not liberal in the true sense of the word. They're wicked, man. You see? But then because a liberal person in the scriptures is associated with somebody who gives, right? But a lot of times the Democrats, they have the welfare programs. But what comes with those programs? All of the filth and wickedness of their philosophy, man. Yeah, they're giving you, okay, you vote for the Democrat, which they're both two sides of the same coin. But if you vote for the Democrat, they're giving you this welfare program. But what are they coming with? Well, yeah, you also got to be a sodomite. That's cool too. Here's a piece of bread. You know? So now everything is being exposed, man. The churl is not what is the churl? A scoundrel, you know, a super villain, a demon. And that's what Esau is, man. All right, I'm gonna read the 6th verse. I'm gonna give it to or 6 and 7. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity. Yeah, the vile person, again, Esau, okay, his heart working iniquity. This is what we've been talking about this whole, continuously speaking on it through the Spirit of the Lord, man. His mind, he has to, when they wake up in the morning, they have to do some kind of wickedness. That's the only way they can exist. Otherwise, if you stop Esau from doing wickedness, he'll probably try to blow his brains out. Real talk. I can't handle this. Give me the gun, man. Fuck it. That's how they are, man. Because they're so evil, man. They wake up, you know, they're constantly, okay, well, we're going to have a book. We're going to write this book. And in this book, it's going to be a think tank. And the name of the book is How to Fuck a Nigga 7 Different Ways. And then they're going to, and that's what they'll come up with. That's what they'll come up with. Super pause. But listen, that's what the fuck they'll come up with. Then they'll come up with, yes, we have another book on technology, but you know it's going to be, and then they'll push it out to the public. Real talk. This is what they do, man. So reading on, it says, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against Yahweh. Yep. Utter error against Yahweh. So everything they're doing is error, hypocrisy, man. Because what are they saying? We want to help humanity. We're here to forge a brave new world of innovation and technology and making everybody's life better. But when you look around, is that what's really happening? What's happening is parents are killing their children, murder suicides, you know, mass deletions, you know, people going and shooting up schools, you know, men walking around with a piece of string over their loins in public. This is all vile, man. This is fucking terrible, man. But he's saying, well, but look, we're forging a new path of evil, you know? And it says to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And then after they get you involved in all that shit, they bring in Nero. They bring in Nero and kick y'all niggas ass some more. You know? Now that you're all TG'd out, now that you're all sodomited out, now we're going to bring in the enforcer, and we're going to kick your ass some more. You see? And now what? They ICE, you know, taking away the programs that they got you hooked to. You don't, this is all by design. Oh yeah, it's the pendulum of politics, they call it. It goes from the right and then the left and the right and the left, but they're controlling both of it to where it's going right down the path that they want you to be on. All right. 7th verse. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices. See, and that's the main wicked device he coming with is that MOTB, along with all his other wicked devices, to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. Now, who is the needy that's speaking right? The elect, because we don't have anything in this. Lord's will we those men. We don't have anything in this world. We don't have a standing military. We have an armada in the heavens. We have the heavenly host, the angels. We don't have guns. We don't have RPGs. We don't have missiles. We don't have tanks. We don't have any of that. So why are we such a threat to this man's system? Because the truth is the threat. And being honest in the sense of the spirit of the Lord, honest and being truthful is the rarest thing that you could find on this earth, man. So this truth is dispersing his plan and exposing it, because they deal with brute force, but they also have to get into your mind. They have to get into your mind and get you to agree to this shit. And if your mind is waking up for you lost sheep out there of the house of Israel, all right, then you're not going to fall for the instruments of the churl, man. You're not going to fall for his vile, wicked devices. You're going to be awakened to it, man. The scripture says that those that water, if they themselves will be watered in Proverbs. So what are we doing? We're watering you with the knowledge so that you could be, you won't be dying of thirst, man. All right, you'll have an awareness of what's going on. You're not going to be swayed into, oh, Elon said this, Trump said that, this one said this. Oh, what do I do next? If you have the right mindset, you're going to be focused on one thing, which is to receive salvation from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and serve him. You see, you brothers got it.
God, I think I'm not here something.
I just want to give precept to back up the brother's points. So this is the book of Psalms 36:3, and it reads, "The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He have left off to be wise and to do good." Right. So everything that they say is crooked and deceitful. Like they don't want to do anything wise or good at all. It's just like Jeremiah. He said, our habitation is in the midst of deception. Actually, let me get that precept real quick. Jeremiah 9. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 9:6, and it reads, "Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, saith the Lord." Verse 7, "Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will melt them and try them, for how shall I do for the daughter of my people?" Right. So in all this deceit, they refuse to acknowledge the Lord. So the Lord is going to handle them, rightfully so.
That's right. That's right. Beautifully said, man. And like what you were saying, or as Cheryl was saying, they I think it was in Behold a Pale Horse or some other book I was reading, maybe Satan's Angels Exposed, one of those. But it mentions in there that they don't have plans on taking you far left or far whatever people into their NWO. Like they're not planning to have sodomites as the freaking poster boys in their NWO. They're not planning to have these wild, messed up degenerates, these YNs as they call them, in their NWO. They're planning to actually eliminate the bulk of you, because your job is to get the world to a destroyed state, right? To be nihilist, right? As Albert Pike and Mazzini, their verbiage in there. You are the nihilists that are going to be used to bring on that social cataclysm, but you end there. So even if their NWO was to go flawlessly, there would be a mass culling of you bugged out, wild ass, crazy, alternative lifestyle individuals. Okay, your role is to cause chaos. Your role is to help with the family home destruction, right? Your role is to play that messed up, chaotic state, so you can destroy. And if you look at majority of people that are affected by it, it's Israelites, right? So you can destroy the Israelite nation. That's it. They don't want you in this. Why the hell would they want? They don't want you freaking hold out Babylonian, Egyptian, ratchet skanks over there in their kingdom. you morbidly obese big backs. What Edomite is trying to deal with your ass over there? They're not bringing you over there. Okay, you're taking the fall right here, and they actually said that. And yet, you know, people don't understand today that you're just being used as a puppet. Like in the movie Planet of the Apes, they had that orange, big freaking, or brown, whatever, big brolic ape that basically turned on the apes, and was helping the Edomites basically capture, you know, Caesar and like the rest of them. And towards his latter end, he realized he was just being used as a puppet. You know, he tried to make amends for it at the end, but you know, really wouldn't be able to come back from that. And the other thing I was going to say was that, like you were saying, Ashiar, they basically indulge in such wickedness, right? And then they they take the concept, just like they've always done in history, and then they experimented on Jake. So yes, you have like drugs that they would test out on Jake. You have new methodologies that they would test out on Jake as test subjects. But also conceptually, Jake is the scratch pad for their new ideas. Okay, for their new whatever they want to test out. So when it's to push the adulterous agenda, if you notice, it's not really being pushed heavy on Moabites, right, or on Elamites, or on Ishmaelites. It's Israelites. The whole child support, that's not to affect Moabites, it's to affect Israelites. The whole sodomite stuff, it's not to affect it's to it would be strange to see a sodomite Moabite, but it's normal to see a sodomite Israelite, right? So they use Jake for these things. And I think there was some information that came out on this guy, what's this guy? Diddy, right? The diddler. And they said this guy was so vile. Yo, he was so vile that Rick Ross. Inside joke. But he was so vile that he basically they said that he basically had, because in his wild freak off parties, he had this chick, right? She came out and she was, I guess, giving a testimony about it, how basically she was getting abused, you know, constantly, and he would keep on like guilt tripping her, like, oh yeah, we almost at the finish line, come on, let's go. And he would let's go boo. So he would basically discourage them using like contraceptives or like, you know, protection and all that. And she said that this guy, this freaked out demon, basically would have multiple men sleep with her, and after they basically you know, climaxed on her, he would come in and I quote, he liked to play in it. This guy's yeah, this is crazy work. She said this guy would like to play in it. Like a fucking pig rolling and shit, playing it before he would want to engage with her, you know. And she's like, I'm reading this shit like, yo, this is like some real next level vile shit. Like when the scriptures say the Lord gave them up to vile affections, that's literally manifest in this black demon, right? When you see his face, that's him. All right, he's the manifestation of Romans 1. Okay, an example of that. But this is a product of Esau. Okay, like for you to be so far gone from your maker that it's in your mind, like you're the faced, you know. That's what we call it, like Diddy parties. You know, it's he comes up with these wild ideas, and she said that he would you know, basically like drug them to keep them going and stuff like that. She's like, she would throw up and he'd be like, no, it's all right, we're almost there, you know, that kind of shit. So these were the kind of weird freak shits that were going on at these parties. And what you'll notice is it'll be a mix of like Jake and Edomites over there, right? Because that's, for Esau, it's normal, right? And then they'll have Jake as the catchers or the bait. So that's how they would get people, right? They'll, oh, you got invited, because back then, you know, Puff Daddy, whatever, he was known, right? So you got invited to a Diddy party. Oh shit, oh, it's gonna be lit until you get in there. Then you find out this shit is on some like Get Out on steroids, but you ain't getting out, you know. So there's a lot of weird stuff that was going on there, and more information is coming out. But once again, this is all the doings of Esau Edom. These Rothschilds, these elites, they don't flinch at these things, right? They don't. It's not like it grosses them out. These are things where they're like, good. So we see that this worked. And now that they don't have need of him anymore, they got him on Front Street, put him on blast, just like that. Who would have thought back in 2010, 2008, and all of that this guy would have been over here, on the screen now. And now you got a lot of other Israelites that are trying to separate themselves from him. You got information coming out on this guy, Bow Wow, and they find it hard to deny it, right? You notice majority of them won't flat out say, no, that's not the case. They'll try to find another way around it. Like the freaking host of the podcast will say, yo, this guy said that he didn't say he witnessed you. He said he was the lover that you had. And the dude will sit there like, wow, really? You saying that right now? That's crazy. Like, wow, I can't, like, and then he'll start laughing. I can't believe people believe this shit. Wait, why didn't you just flat out deny it? You don't ever say, no, that's not true. And this is this. No. It's always I'm shocked that you would say something like this about me. So there's a lot of wild, freaky stuff going on. And you would think that when you were younger, you would think, man, this guy, he probably gets all the girls in the world. Man, shit, if I looked like him or if I was famous like him, I'd be getting all the girls in the world. That's a cover, right? That's a cover story that they give them. But real quick, let me get this precept. This is Daniel 7:25. Going back to that main point, and he shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, right? This is an example of that. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. And the main focus point on this being speaking great words against the Most High. That's like that Yuval Noah Harari spirit, right? That we can challenge the God of the Bible. He literally said we can piss him off as much as we want. And so what? Like, what's he going to do about it? And they shall think to change times and laws. They're thinking in their minds, like Shalomah said, to change the laws of nature, right? It's against nature. Paul said it, right? Changing the natural use of a woman to that which is against nature. When you take an ayash and turn them into an ayasha, that's against nature. And do it so well that somebody cannot tell. They caught a police officer who ended up assaulting a TG because he didn't know it was a TG until he got behind the scenes. Then he was shocked. Boom. Hi, gotcha. And then he retaliated. So I'm not playing that shit, not me. It's like, it's that bad that police officers are trained to be able to detect, deceptive ways and all of that. But here it is, you caught behind the scenes. So they change these laws, they change these times, and they do it so well that you can't tell. And now they're trying to get to a point where, you ever seen those futuristic TV shows and movies where like they'll go into space and there's like this space bar, and then you got like section with like talking dogs, you got robots, you got half human, half this, like in what's that, Planet of something of the Galaxies, Guardians of the Galaxy. You got like the chick with the antennas, you got the green dude, and it's all normal. A talking raccoon, it's all normal. That's portraying the age that we're going to where you're talking to AI robots, you don't even know if they're a robot or not. You're talking to a dude, but it's really not even a dude. That's really like how confused of a state that Babylon the Great is personifying. But yeah, you got it.
Hey, yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, where the Zaquan put in the chat of the AI robot thing that was talking, and it sounded like an actual person. Like the bitch was actually like, she would take a pause, she would take in a deep breath and really think about what you just asked her, And if you were, all of us, I mean, when I first heard it, I thought it was like actual person that they were recording, maybe they're about to say something that we had to hear. Meanwhile, it's a robot the whole time. Like, oh, so what do you think about this? The motherfucker be quiet, like, well, honestly, I'm not really, the pitch tone and I'm like, it went from, we should really think about what we're doing here. Now it's, man, I don't know, maybe we should think about what we're doing here, right? Because given the information that you have in here and what we're trying to arrive at, and then that's like, I'm like, wow. And then the motherfucker really had the nerve to say, by the way, before I answer that question, you have just a minute left, if you want to continue. Like, I'm like, this is crazy, but you're literally talking to a robot, like, speaking to the damn phone, and then the phone is responding back with actual information based on what you said. like you're actually having a real conversation with somebody. You know how crazy that's gonna be when you, because all these companies do it right now. You know, remember like a few years ago, we're like, yo, every time you call like your bank or something, you always got to talk to these robots, and you speak to a representative. I want to talk to a representative. I want to, like, you just try to skip it because you want to talk to an actual being. Soon, you're not going to have the choice to speak to human beings. It's all going to be automated, and you're going to be just shifted from one end to the next, and it's going to be just automated. Like literally, they were saying that they have the ability to change your accent. So you know how when you talk to somebody and they're from India, they have that Indian accent. They said because of that, it would deter a lot of companies because they're like, yo, these people can work, but it's harder for them to communicate because you can barely hear what they're saying. You know, they speak fast. Sometimes it's like, ah, shit. So they're using AI to mask their accent where whatever they're saying sounds like an American accent. So you're not even going to know you're speaking to somebody who's in India or somebody who has an Indian accent. It's like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So they could take that so many different ways, and that's all part of the deception. All right, now I got a quick precept here. This is a book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 8. It says, they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, right? Because these people, they're creating technology without really understanding the full capabilities of it. They're not even focused on creating, having regulation. All right, Trump is saying that they're going to have this AI thing take over, and no state can regulate it for 10 years. You a fool if you come up with some shit like that, knowing the potential of what this thing could be. Seeing what it is now, what is it going to be in 10 years if we're here for 10 years? And you're saying no one could veto it, nobody could, amend it, no one could really do anything against it. What are you basically trying to say? Okay? So it says what? They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. So going back to a Diddy example that you gave, all right, where does he learn all that shit from? What is going on in that part of the world, in the Hollywood world where this kind of stuff is normal, where it takes a damn lawsuit and all these different things for people to hear all about this shit? But before it came out, they all go to these parties, and LeBron James, they all go to these parties, man. To the point where this nigga say ain't no party like a Diddy party. That's the Diddy party you talking about, nigga? Where this nigga, the Diddy, that's what you talking about? Where this dude is out here swimming in bus? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? This is the shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This guy's out of his mind. And you got people out here defending this clown, bro? Nah, man, he gotta go. All right, because he's learning from the people who put him onto these type of things. They have to have an image, right? They got the different sectors of the boule. They got the ones for the pastors. That's the TD Bakes and them niggas. They go to that boule party, and then they come there on a Sunday and pretend like they love God and Jesus Christ. And then you got the other ones, that the basketball boule niggas. You got the football boule niggas. You got the Islam boule niggas. You got all kinds of different boule niggas, bro. All right, and all they do is boule shit. You know what I'm saying? Boule in the butt.
That's that bouquet.
Yeah, the bouquet shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And the Lord is gonna expose all. We told you this. We said the Lord's gonna expose all you celebrities, you Jay-Z's of the world, you again LeBrons of the world, all you clowns who've been hiding in the cut, doing all this wickedness, hurting people, destroying people's lives. All right, doing all kinds of debauchery. Okay, rituals, all kinds of different shit. Laying with them J's and shit, getting your back blown out, all this weirdo shit y'all been doing. The Lord's gonna expose all of that, man, and the Lord, everyone's gonna see you for who you really are. That you ain't worthy to be looked at in no high esteem. Talking about, oh, he a celebrity. This nigga out here walk around talking about he a king. Man, this nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's gonna expose all you clowns, bro. And it's happening very fast, bro. You going down just with your man's Esau Edom. Now you want to be his bitch, you and that nigga going down. The Lord's gonna take all you niggas out, man. All you 2/3 gonna get wiped the fuck out, bro. Regardless of your status in this society. You're gone. All right? You got it, bro.
Oh, I was gonna say that what you were saying, like the reason this isn't strange to them is because when you go to their Kabbalah and their Talmud and all of those, it's like these weird freaky shits are normal, right? Because keep in mind, like a lot of the tainted, first off, the dealings between a man and a woman today have become so perverse. You know, like the things they introduce through the adult film, contents, and like the weird shit that people do nowadays, throat goats, that's what they label themselves, throat goat, whatever. But like the weird extra shit, right, that they do, BDSM, I think they call it, whatever. Those go back to like those cult rituals, right? You had like temple prostitutes and temples. Then they would basically use intercourse in a ritualistic way, right? So they would do certain things, like cut themselves or spit on themselves, like do weird shit, and then top it off with the intercourse to like in honor of their demons or their idols, right? And so in that case, these practices in the Talmud and stuff, it's normal to them. And so they pulled all this shit out, and then they start to push it on the masses of the people through these celebrities, through the adult film industry. So you start to think like some of these weird freaky shits, like, and it's, oh, she a freak, and it's like looked at in a good sense, like, oh, she know how to do this, or she experienced, she been around town, all of those weird shits that they come up with go back to these perverse ways. And then they push it on these Israelites that are in the industry, right? That industry, and then they start to pervert them more and more. So it's not like freaking randomly they're just like Diddy himself just say, oh yeah, you know what, let me just try this out, and because I mean Jake does have that innovative mindset, and they'll take it further in wickedness, but a lot of it goes back to the weird, freaky, ritualistic freak shits that are in their Talmud. And so on.
Yeah, Amalek puts the battery in their back to do it. Amalek puts that battery. That's why the Lord said he has war against Amalek to all generations, man. I was just meditating on that earlier, on how the Lord made it so plainly obvious who the Amalekites are, man. Like, it's beyond question. Like, if you look at a people who has pushed the most wickedness, it's not like a complicated question here. The Lord the scripture speaks about the simplicity in Yahushua. You see the works of what they're doing, that this is of people that are at war with the Most High, man. It's plainly obvious in every single thing they do. And as the brother said, it isn't like Diddy just stumbled into this. Oh, I just want to try this shit out. This is all by design. You want to play ball? They own all this shit, man. They own it all. You talking about the Rothschilds, it's super elite, trillions of dollars, man. They'll throw out Elon Musk. They throw out the super elite. Their faces are not out on the forefront, man. They don't want to be seen, but they take advantage of men who do want to be famous. Like Elon Musk, you could tell the guy likes attention. He likes to go. Donald Trump. So like, okay, you guys like to be on the forefront. Shit, we'll make you the face of this and that, but you're really a little guy. You see, if you got to go out there, it's like a job. If you got to go out there and show your face and you're not behind the scenes, then you a little guy. You see, but the real super elite, going back to Amalek, they're behind the scenes running the show. They don't want to be seen. They don't want people to know who they are. And they're just right there, man. We talking about 99.9. You like, when the download for the game is like 99.9%, and you like, man, this is going to be fire. That's how close we are to this happening, man. We talked about the Stargate. They got, the brother Bukhar mentioned, they got, and I looked it up after you mentioned it, 800, almost 900 acres, the size of Central Park, they said, of a data processing center that's going to have 1.2 gigawatts of processing power, man. So as soon as they get that popping, what do you think is going to happen? They could just roll it out, right? If they had the means, they would go for it right now. But they have to have certain things set up. So they're just setting up. It's like decorating a table for a feast, man. They're just putting the forks lined up, the fork, the cutlery, knife, this and that. They're setting that table up. They got the nice tablecloth. They ready. Hey, what does the scripture say? The Lord is gonna, if a brother could get it, Job, where it says he will cast it, when he's about to fill his belly. I forget where that's at. I think it's Job 18.
20.
20. The water.
Yeah.
The water.
Let me bring it up here real quick. So I can. Hold on 1 second.
2022, I think.
2022. That's right.
Yep, and 23. 2022 and 23.
I got you. I'll read it for you. Um,
Done.
mhm. So this is Job chapter 20, verse 22. It says here, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Mm. So as we've been, as the spirit just had come out, you know, they're setting up that table. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. He got it all, man. He got it laid out. They're developing they got the AI, they got the process. The Lord is like, here, I'm gonna give you it's like in a video game where you put the guy with all the best armor, all the best weapons, his power level, all of his stats are maxed out. And then you got little old us. It's like we on like level 1 in the carnal sense. But then when the battle starts, you're gonna see that we really level 1,000. You know, because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is level infinity, man. So he can raise us to however he wants. You know, he's gonna raise up his men. Lord's will, we are part of that. But basically, it looks like it's like going up against them Elden Ring bosses, man. For brothers that know about that game. But you got them bosses, man. They be like insurmountable. You'd be like, damn, how the hell do I beat this motherfucker? And that's basically the position Esau's in, man. But you're gonna have it to where the elect, which is the most unexpected, is gonna be the one to overcome, because it's not about strength, as it is written in 2 Maccabees, the 15th chapter, man. It's not about you know, who has the might. You know, that's Esau's mentality, is might makes right. But the truth is that serving the Lord is what makes a man mighty. Serving the Lord, like David said, when he went up against Goliath, which we're doing that now in the spirit, he didn't say, well, I'm so strong that I'm going to take you down, Goliath, and I've trained and I beat the bear. He did mention the bear and the lion, but he mainly said what? Then that was because he was trying to get on the field, so he had to talk to Saul about that. But when he got there about to go fight Goliath, he said, what? I'm going to do it because in the name of the Lord. You know, and the battle is not about swords and spears and different. It's about the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's what we have, man. So we could go against the most insurmountable odds, man. They could send a giant AI robot at us, man. And we could go into that battle bold in the name of the Lord, man, with the victory on our mind, man. And that's what this is what's happening. It's a movie, though. You gotta love it, man. And thank the Lord for even putting us here, man. Like we about to go up against the most powerful kingdom that ever existed on earth, man. But really, the Lord already defeated it. So we just got to watch it play out and examine ourselves to see if we're worthy of this, man. But I have 2 Maccabees 15. Real quick, I'm gonna just get straight to the point. All right, 2 Maccabees 15 and 8. Wherefore, and this is Judas Maccabeus speaking to his men, right? I'll read 7. But Maccabeus had ever sure confidence that the Lord would help him. Wherefore, and confidence means what? With fidelity, with faith. Wherefore, he exhorted his people not to fear the coming of the heathen against them. And this is what we're doing now. Don't fear this man and his AI and his robots. That's all a bunch of carnal nonsense, man. We're coming in the name of the true and living God, man, the God that created heaven and earth, for this devil to even be here to do what the fuck he's doing. So the Most High, the power that we serve, man, Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai, already got this devil lined up, man. Since the beginning, he's been lined up. And we're just had to have it play out through all these thousands of years to where we at now. All right, but it says, but to remember the help which in former times they have received from heaven, right? Going into these stories. The things written aforetime before our learning, going into David, going into his fight against the Philistines, you know, his various battles and wars that he fought, going into, the time of Hezekiah, going into Elijah, going into Noah, all these different stories of the great men of old, which is all happening now here once again, man. And it says, and now to expect the victory and aid, expect it. Because we have a hope of salvation, man. We ain't out here doing deals with Esau. We ain't out here doing what these celebrities do, man. We ain't out here compromising our integrity, man. To the best of our ability, we're walking in uprightness before the Lord in our integrity. And if there's anything that we're lacking, then we pray to the Lord to open our mind to see that so we can improve on that. Right? But we're putting forth the effort, man. We're putting forth the best sacrifice we can, man. So that we can have what? The hope and expectation of that victory and that aid to come. It says, which should come unto them from the Almighty. And so comforting them out of the law and the prophets. That's the same thing we're doing now. How could you tell me the Maccabees is not a part of the Bible, man? He literally said he's coming out of the law and the prophets. And this is the story that paved the way for the time of Yahushua, man. But they'll say this is not a part of the scriptures. Y'all are bugging, man. You Christians are fucking bugging. All right. It says, and so comforting them out of the law and the prophets, and withal putting them in mind of the battles that they won afore, he made them more cheerful. That's the comfort, right? We're comforting you through the scriptures. Okay. And when he had stirred up their minds, he gave them their charge, shewing them therewithal the falsehood of the heathen and the breach of oath. So not only did he say, remind them of the old battles that we had won through the Lord, but he's saying, look, the heathen that we're going against, they're wicked. They breached their oaths. You think the Lord is going to be with them? Do you think the Lord is going to be with the man that pushed sodomite culture on a high level? You think the Lord is going to be with the man that is pushing AI and carnality? It doesn't and always constantly comes against him. That would be backwards. So expect the Lord to be with us because he is with us. And expect him to be against them because everything they do, their works, you will know them by their fruits. Their works show forth that the Lord is not with them and he's set to destroy them. So then it returns back to us to say, well, if we know the Lord is with us and he's against them, then we should examine ourselves so that we could be in the best possible position, Lord's will, when that day comes. And pray to the Lord to have us in the self-examination spirit. So then once you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, I see the Lord is against them and he's with us. Now we got to be on point. You see? And that's why, self-examination, looking within, then it becomes like us keeping each other sharp, iron sharpening iron. But that great day is coming, and as long as we keep staying locked in this truth, man, the Lord is going to be with us. The Lord is going to justify us, man, no matter what they try to do to us. All right? And I'll read the 11th verse, and I'll give it to the next brother. Thus he armed every one of them, not so much with defensive shields and spears. Right, we're not here, brother. We're going to hand out guns. We're going to hand out what? We're going to go in like ISUPK. They're not in the spirit of the Maccabees, man. And them guys are doing a bunch of vain nonsense, man. All fat, out of shape, talking about you doing some military training. Y'all niggas need to train harder than if that's the fuck you doing. But he didn't arm them with carnal weaponry. What did Judas Maccabeus arm them with? It says he get not so much with defensive shields and spears as with comfortable and good words. The comforter, man, the spirit. Teaching the word is good enough. That's it. Just teach the word. Just teach the truth, man. And destroy all the lies and tear down the strongholds. That's all we got to do. It's just that simple. Jake always likes to overcomplicate things. It's just that simple. That's why they can't get down with this, because it's too simple and straightforward. It's not a gimmick. Now, it has to be something more to this. No, it's just believe in the Lord, trust in him, praise his holy name, repent. And don't take the MOTB. All right? And it says, and beside that, he told them a dream worthy to be believed as if it had been so indeed, which did not a little rejoice them. And then it goes into a vision he had about, I believe, Jeremiah. So, that's it, though. Trust in the Lord, man. We almost out this bitch.
Hey, Khan, like you mentioned about how Esau is pushing all these agendas. Ultimately, the scriptures literally says that Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. So they don't really have a chance in this battle at all, because the Heavenly Father verbatim says that you are that nation. It says, I shall have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right. So you trying to hide your identity that does not negate the fact that you're still going to take the brunt of the judgment from the Heavenly Father. I seen a video yesterday of this guy, Truth Unedited. And all of a sudden he starts doing videos on the Hebrew Israelites and all that. And yesterday he decided to go into a topic of who is Esau. I said, hey, that's how you know this truth has gone throughout the whole entire world, because now you have people actually coming reading the scriptures now. Now all of a sudden they know oh, Esau, I didn't know that Esau was the Bible. Yeah, because you've been sitting in the church all your life, not learning a damn thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden you want to go into the Bible and talk about Esau? Who is Esau? We're in 2025. Now you're putting who is Esau. It's almost like it's a new thing. Like, oh, who's Esau? It's like some new thing. It's not new. All right. But the word is what's making it new. We're bringing up all these different things. This is all part of the sentencing stage. Okay. And that's why Esau has a problem with us bringing out this truth, because we're tying your identity. This nigga was talking about, oh, the Hebrew Israelites talk about, oh, Esau is a white man. You people still don't understand when we say that. We're not talking about just color, bro. Because you got Edomites that are also dark skinned. You got Edomites that are looking like Chinese people, because their seed are mingled all throughout the nations as well, just like us. Okay. But when we talk about Esau, like we're talking about like the heads, the people that actually everybody hates. We're talking about like the Klaus Schwabs of the world, like the Rothschilds, like them high level niggas, the niggas that actually have power to influence the way in which the world is moving. And as you can see, it's all moving into a very negative, evil time. Those people, that's the head of, when we say Esau, we're not talking about the regular white man that you see in the streets. Yeah, he's part of that family, but he's insignificant. He's suffering the same shit that everybody's going to suffer anyway. We're talking about the elites of that society. So when you come against us, you're basically saying that we shouldn't be calling out these people for all the shit that they're doing. That's even written in the scriptures. Okay, we're bringing out all these precepts about this specific kind of people. And we're letting you know that it's not just a specific kind of people in the Bible and that's about it. Where are they today? You have to identify them. And the Bible is doing a great job identifying, but you people can't see it. So the Lord sent his prophets down to make it plain. Okay? Just like the brother beautifully broke down, all these things that you're seeing, it ties up to one person, one specific kind of people on this earth. And that's Esau, Edom. And they are the son of perdition, the man of destruction. It is through him that you see the end of this world as you see today. They're the ones behind this creation of AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence that's going to bring up the heap of ruins. Who's behind that? It's not us. It's not the other nations. It's Esau who's ahead of all of this shit. So he must be identified. And we identifying who he is according to scriptures does not make us anti-Sem. Okay, we're truth tellers. You can't never say, oh, you guys are lying. You just come up with some dumb shit just to deviate from what we're talking about. But no longer are we going to be living in those days where you could just say some shit and then, oh, the conversation is over. It's not over. As you can see, it's the more you try to stop it, the more it keeps increasing. It's like the Hydra, right? You cut off the head, another one pops up. You cut the head off, another one pops up. It's like you can't get away with it. You can't get around it. You know, they got something called the Streisand effect, right? Where you try to hide, the more you try to hide, the more exposed you become. Because the ways, it's like, okay, if it doesn't matter, why are you trying to hide it? Then it's like, okay, more people are now paying attention to the fact that you're trying to hide it. It's like, okay, what are they hiding now? You know, oh, there's nothing to see. Hold on, there's nothing to see. Why are you telling us there's nothing to see? You should just let us see it then. You see what I'm saying? So because of those tactics, people are starting to scrutinize more. They're like, yo, the Hebrews like they're saying this. Now they want to go look into it and see if what we're saying is true. That's a problem for Esau. He doesn't want that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to be exposed, but now he's being exposed because we are in those times, as is written in 2 Thessalonians. All right. So the Lord is the one who's going to keep them for a time to do what they're doing. Like ICR said, if they got the chance, they would have been up and on it already. But the Lord says what? That he's going to hold them. Right. It tells you that in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And verse 6, it says, and now ye know that ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. And when you go into that word withholdeth, I believe it's the Greek word catechol or catechol, right? Which is where you get the word catechon, right? Which is, it says to hold back, to detain, to retrain, or to retain. All right. It says from going away, to restrain, to hinder. Okay. To hold fast, to keep secure, to keep firm. All right. So basically the Lord is holding them back, just like the order he gave to angels in Revelation 7 to hold up the winds, all right, of the four corners until the servants of the Lord are all sealed in their foreheads. So it's the same thing that Esau got. He got the same orders. You can't make a move until the Lord says to make a move. So until then, you're stuck. They tried doing this MOTB thing years ago. They came up with something called Verichip. If brothers want to look into that, you can do so. Years ago. Okay, They've had so many different variations of this shit. But now is the perfect time. Now you got Neuralink, you got all these different companies all coming out at the same time, pushing for the same exact goal, which is the human augmentation and all these different things. That's what John talked about. You see, but for the world, it looks like technological progress. But little did you know that it's all biblical prophecies being fulfilled, to the point where even Peter Thiel, he said it. He said, yo, what we're seeing now is literally what the Bible says. And he starts quoting scriptures. I said, here we go, bro. Now all of a sudden everybody want to get into the Bible, bro. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. The Christians had this Bible for years. Nobody was really going into the Bible like that. And then the Hebrew Israelites come in, the true prophets come in. Now all of a sudden, everybody's like, hey, yo, the Bible, hey, man, hey, see this why? Yeah, the Bible said this. You niggas has been wicked, smoking blood, being wicked all over the time. Now all of a sudden you want to come out here and talk about the Bible? Please stop, man. But this is all part of the influence. All right, just like Yahushua said, if I be lifted up, then I shall draw all men onto me, onto myself. That's what he's doing now. By way of this word, everyone is paying attention to what the Hebrew Israelites are saying. What does this mean? What are they saying about this? What, everyone tunes in. Anything that's going on around the world, they want to hear the perspective of what the prophets are saying about it, because that's what means something. Everybody else is just bullshit just to do it for money. But the true prophets, they always bring in the heat. No chaser, just, they saying this? Let me look into that. Oh, they're saying that. Oh, let me look into that. We're giving you the clarity of what's been hidden for so long. We're revealing everything to you. Okay? And that's all part of biblical prophecy, right? So continuing, it says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work, 2 Thessalonians 2:7, right? Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So going back to that point, that the Lord is the one who's holding them back. But once it's time to go, he's going to move out the way. Right. And by moving out the way, he's also going to move his elect out of the way. And then he's going to bring that judgment. OK, because little did people know that all these things that's being done and set up by Esau is the Lord who's doing that. This is all the Lord's judgment that's going to play out by the hands of Esau. OK, so if you're in good standing with the Lord, like Ashiar said, we strengthen ourselves in the faith of the Lord. Well, if you're in good standing with the Lord, when all this trouble comes, you're going to be at peace. It's not going to hit you. It's not going to touch you because you're not the target. You see what I'm saying? The Lord has a target and he's not going to miss. All right, you're not going to accidentally just get grazed. Boom. Oh, Lord. Oh, man, I know the bullet was supposed to go to that nigga, but it just grazed my shoulder. Look, nah, you're not going to get that. Okay? You're not going to get that. Why? Because we are obedient to the Heavenly Father. So we look at those signs and we move based on those signs. If I know bullets going to be flying up over here very soon, I'm not going to go into the house, even if they say, yo, there's mad bitches and there's food and there's drinks and everything, bro. I know there's bullets that's coming. That's why they set you niggas up with those things. The things that everybody wants to go and do, that's part of the setup to get you in there. You see what I'm saying? Get you into the spectacle. And then the Lord going to use that Samson power to bring that whole building down on you. You see what I'm saying? Everybody who's caught in that building gets cooked. All right? So that building is going to be America. They said they want to put up a whole dome and shit. America is going to be in that fucking dome. The Lord's going to crush all this shit with fire when it comes. Okay? Think of that shit. They said, I was watching a video and the guy was saying that, he said, I believe he said about 20 or 30 nuclear warheads could destroy all of humanity. Some shit like this, some crazy number. It was very small number, very, very minute. And I was like, damn. So think of that and think of 200 million warheads dropping down on one piece of land. Bro, that's like overkill. And it all made sense. I was like, as I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, nah, it makes sense. That's why it's been prophesied for thousands of years, that kind of destruction. Ain't no other way around it. There's no other kind of element or fire that I could think of that could cause that kind of destruction that's portrayed in the scriptures like that, where men saw this and they were afraid. That's what Ezra said. When I saw this, I was afraid. It makes sense because it's like, yo, this is like, nah, this is like, you done pissed off that God up there. You done pissed him off to a whole nother level where he's like, I'm destroying the whole land with that kind of fire. I'm gonna see if I could put that video in the chat so brothers can see it. But man, like the guy's going into like the different types of missiles and nuclear this and the kind of damage it causes and all these different things. And the reason why they came up with the mad theory. And I'm like, yo, bro, what? And yo, the numbers he's given, it's just about 20 of these and this place is gonna wipe everything out. I said, 20? That's it? That's all it takes? So yeah. The Lord gonna cook, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's best to be on his side, and it makes sense. Well, we're gonna have to be up. You can't be like the earth is gonna be in the unlivable state after the Lord is done with America alone. That's why it says the earth shall shake to and fro like a drunkard, right? It's gonna be in an unlivable state. And that's why these elites, they got these underground bunkers and shit to escape from what's going to be happening on the surface of the earth. Okay, it's going to be in an unlivable state. The guy was saying, he said there's going to be a nuclear winter for years. I said, yeah, that's going to be tough. The sun is not even going to be able to be visible because all the smoke and the debris and everything is going to be up there for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Because of the devastation that's going to happen upon this place, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, hey, the only thing we could do is just keep our faith in the Lord and keep doing what we know is best or what we know is right according to what the Lord has said. He gave us all the descriptions. Everything that we need to know is here. We don't got to go try to deviate, nah. Stick to what the Lord has said and you're going to be good. You got it, bro.
Yeah, go on, bro. Like what you were saying, right? So that's real climate change. That's going. That's a good one. That's a good one. I might use that. But so I got two precepts, and that would be it for me. But basically, just highlighting that rise and fall, right? And when we go in here in Revelation, the 17th chapter, dealing with Esau. Which another thing about Esau that came to mind when we were talking was I recently watched one of the movies that I gotta watch. What's the name of that movie? With the two twins, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. So I just watched it and I was thinking about something, right? We know that there's this comparison, this sort of analogy of the concept of vampires and Edomites being very linked, right? Because they have these traits. And there's this part in the movie where and I think it's in other movies as well, but they can't come inside of your house or where you are unless you invite them in, right? So every time they come, they try to convince you to invite them in, let me in, and they'll try to move deceptively, hey, so why don't you go ahead and just let me in here and let me get about my business, and he's like, you've been in here the whole day. What's up? Why can't you come in now? I was thinking about that as to why that is the case with vampires, with all the power they have, their speed, their ability, all of those things, but they can't, if you're in your house, they can't come inside unless you invite them in. And so you see in the movie that even with all that power, they had to rely on deception in order to get access to their victims. And when you look at Esau Edom, with all his military might, you might say, well, why don't you just physically go and hold people down and put your seat up inside of them? You got the power, you got the technology. Why don't you, when it comes to the whole CV and all that, instead of trying to deceive people and make it look convenient, why don't you just send out your troops and just lock people in their houses and just physically do all this? But this majority of the way they go is through the propaganda, the media. They have to do it that way because they need you to open up to them so they can get there and do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't the serpent just grab Eve? You gonna eat this apple, bitch? You know what I'm saying? He had to get you to want to do it.
Hey, but it stems back to the history of the Israelites specifically. Whenever Esau tried to force anything on us, the Lord stepped in and intervened on our behalf. And they know that. So they're like, nah, we're not going to fail this time again fucking with these people and their God. So we're going to have it where we're going to set the honey trap and then let them come over here and come get it. So that way, we could, when their God come back and be like, what have you done to my people? I'm like, well, what have I done to your people? They came and got it, Lord. I was doing my thing. They the ones who brought their hands and foreheads, rolled up them sleeves, and come took this thing. That's what they did. I didn't go. Yeah, I didn't go forcing on them. So you can't really the Lord. The Lord's not going to be like, I got to step in. Nah, He's going to destroy the whole system because you fuck with His people, and He's going to destroy His people that took part in that thing. And I did a lesson going into the unclean thing / abominable thing, which was going back to the time of Joshua when one of the Jakes took the detestable thing and then it caused us to be getting fucked up. And then Joshua was like, Lord, what's going on? He's like, yeah, one of your people over there, I'm not happy with what's going on over there. One of your people over there got that shit that I told him not to have, that cursed thing. They got that cursed thing, and that's why I'm plaguing you niggas. So until you get rid of that guy and burn him up, you guys gonna keep getting cooked. And Joshua was like, what the fuck? You got, you know what I'm saying? Same thing. When you people go take that accursed thing, the Lord's not going to be on your side, man. He's going to destroy you. That is going to be done by fire. That's literally what the punishment was. You know what I'm saying? So that accursed thing is going to be that, you know what? And when those who take it, you think the Lord going to be on your side, boy, He's going to destroy the fuck out of you, man. You and the people around you, man. Everything that's around walking and talking is going to get smoked out. All right, you take that accursed thing, it's over with you. You got it, bro.
Gun. So the precept is Revelation 17. And I'm gonna the verse 1, it says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, which we know that whore to be Babylon the Great, aka America, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And I'm going to jump to the main point here, right? First, jump into verse 4. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And then jumping down to verse 6, John says here, right? And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now, when you deal with the woman, it wasn't an actual, like, he saw a woman, but it represents America. And America is not a woman per se, right? It's land. So how does the visual of a woman who's decked with all this, like, you know, glorious apparel, one that John even admired, right? Looking at her, wondering with admiration, how does that actually look in real life when manifested? That's where you have an empire that looks so glorious, right? You sell that American dream. It's like a place where it is desired to be, right? Just like a woman that looks good is desirable. So the things that make this place desirable are the things that they commercialize. And now more so than ever, it's that technology, right? That's that push that they're using to try and make this place look good and sort of put it at that peak, right? They're saying, like, this is what's going to make America great again. That's why Trump is so invested in it, right? Now, jumping to the 18th chapter, right, dealing with the balance of that, you have John saw this place in its great state, but he also saw this place in its destroyed state, right? So he pretty much saw the life cycle of Babylon the Great. And as the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, something like that. So this is Revelation 18:1. It says, after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils and of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, and that's the main point right there, right? Because it was to the point where she was so high up. In fact, she was sitting upon this beast. She was all rage. She was looking good. And now she's fallen, right? So low that she's never going to rise again. And the bridge between that is when you read in Isaiah 47, right? Evil shall come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, right? And thou shalt not be able to put it off. And that's the middle connecting part that we're about to see when the Lord starts bringing that destruction upon this place. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. You know, bro's got anything else?
Now, it's funny how she's sitting on a beast, but now she got beast all over her when she's destroyed us. That's the upside down.
Yeah, if you imagine, if you in the ending of 17, it mentions how they're gonna eat her flesh and burn her with fire. If you actually look at a visual, like if you look at Game of Thrones, for example, you look at an actual, like a beast, but like a dragon, you know, you can imagine how a dragon could shake off its rider and actually, like, you know, attack it and then ultimately just, like, you know, burn it with fire as like an actual visual, which we know the way it's going to manifest is like through these nations shooting their missiles here. Yeah. Cool. All right. So we all set? Looking like we are. Perfect.
Wait,
All right.
I got a precept.
Oh, lucky. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, quick precept. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, and it reads, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the body. Salakia. Let me start again. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Right. So don't fear Esau and the stuff he's coming with, because he's only able to kill the body, but Most High is able to kill both body, soul. So only fear the Most High.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. We'll end it here. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect and pleasing unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rachak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.